Welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Tonight we're watching and reacting to Sporting Kansas City versus St. Louis City SC, MLS 2025 Week 7, the Missouri, Kansas. It is Kansas City, Kansas. The I-80 derby, whatever. Either way, the St. Louis, Kansas City derby, the barbecue derby. There we go. Yeah, we'll call it that. The barbecue derby. MLS Week 7. They're playing in Kansas City. St. Louis off of a loss last week to Austin during the storms and such. I would have done that game, but storms. So, well, it was a bust, but rainy. So it is what it is. But we are here. No worries about Kansas City. It wasn't raining there since Tuesday. St. Louis, I think they still would have been able to get this game in at 7:30 p.m. today. But there you go. Oh, that's new. Huh. Well, that's new. Red Bulls tie 1-1 with Chicago. Okay, I don't like this new thing. Show on stage. Okay. Yes, she's horrible. She is horrible at promos, yes. That is a horrible new... On StreamYard, I just saw this new feature where I have to click the comment. It says show on stage, and then I don't like this new feature. Oof, maron. Okay. With that being said, St. Louis, Kansas City, Sporting Kansas City contra St. Louis City SC in La MLS. Starting 11s are as follows. For Sporting Kansas City, John Polskamp. Back for Kyrie Shelton, Jensen Miller, Joaquin Fernandez, Logan and Denby. The midfield trio, Lucas Bartlett, or Jacob Bartlett. Lucas used to play for St. Louis. Jacob Davis, they're both Jacobs. How did I forget that? Manu Garcia. The midfield three, or the attacking three of Shapi Suleimanov, Dejan Joveljic, Daniel Shalhoub. For St. Louis City SC, in goal, Ben Lunt. The back four, Kyle Hebert, Henry Kessler, Joaquim Nielsen, Josh Yarrow. The midfield four, Celio Pompeu, Akil Watts, Alfredo Morales, Marcel Hartel. And the front two of João Klaus and Conrad Valem. And we're on our way. Boom. Normally, Toronto plays on Saturdays. They flipped it this week. St. Louis on Saturday, Toronto on Sunday. Hit that like button. Let's get this one going. We're on our way. And we're going. Should be a fun one here. So, weirdly enough, we got a flip them situation. Toronto tomorrow, St. Louis tonight. So, Domingo Futboleros, Toronto. I want Montreal to lose to Columbus, sir. Sir, I want Montreal to lose to Columbus. One, because that means Toronto's just as good as Montreal, if not better, slightly. And second of all, well, obviously, well, you know what I think. Let's go Columbus. Besides, you know exactly what I think. We want a Montreal loss. Toronto at least be equal to them on points unless they draw tomorrow or win. That won't happen. Neither of that. More likely a draw than a win. But who knows? Is that their new coach? Oh, yeah, Kansas City. For the first time since 15 years or so, 16, Peter Vermees is not coaching a game for Kansas City. He got sacked. They finally had the balls to get rid of him. Man, I hope you're right. Starting 11, John Polskamp. for Sporting Kansas City. Back and Denby, Fernandez, Miller, Shelton. Shelton playing wing back. Okay. Garcia, Bartlett, Davis. Front three, Shallowy, Joveljic, Shapi, Suleimanov for Kansas City. Mason Toy on the bench. Oh, yeah, he did go there before the season started. Yep. But yes, start 11 for St. Louis, Ben Lunt. The back three of Nilsson, Kessler, Yarrow. Midfield four, Valum, Morales, Watts, Hebert. No, I did not hear about it. Pompeu, Hartel, and up top, João Klaus. I did not hear about that. No, I did not. Hold on. Sporting Kansas City's interim manager. Let's see. Zavagnin, the interim coach for Sporting Kansas City. Oh, okay, so Wikipedia does have it updated. I was like, a lot of things don't have it updated. I heard about that, though, Pachar. I heard about Vitali, though. João Klaus, the player to watch. Shallowy was player to watch for Kansas City. I heard about Vitali, though. Yeah, I heard about that. He played for Kansas City for 8 years, and then he was their coach for as long as Peter Vermees was there. And then became their interim. Yep. Yeah, 16 years of Peter Vermees is over. Wow, I can't believe it. They actually got rid of him. Let's see if they play better. Like, I legit can't believe it. And teams are walking out. We're about ready to go. In Kansas City, St. Louis for Sporting KC. Weirdly enough, this would be the game we did on a Sunday, but they flipped it on me because Miami versus Toronto is the game on Sunday night for some reason. Definitely not because of Toronto. It's all because it's Miami, and Toronto just happened to be in the game. So, I mean, yeah, there have been some games on Sunday night that haven't been Miami, but it's been a while, though. Just happened Toronto plays Miami this week, so they play on Sunday night. They did not do anything to deserve that at all, playing on Sunday night. Honestly, Dortmund going for Edson Alvarez, you know what? I like the move. I think Edson playing at Dortmund sounds like a good move for him. West Ham's been a little bit unwelcoming to him recently. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, Edson Alvarez moving, I think that's good for him. You think Ray Phoenix had a good debut? Yeah. I'm just surprised they used Nathan Frazier to put him over. That was weird. I just thought, I guess they had to give him more than a regular jobber, but nobody off the main roster. But I'm sure there's, it was weird. Nathan Frazier is the guy they used to put him over. I did not expect that at all, especially in Chicago. Now, if it was the UK, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. If it was the European tour, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Chicago? Yeah, maybe they'd put somebody up there that was actually on the roster. I don't know. I mean, I like Nathan Frazier. I'm not saying I don't. The fact they used him to job out to Ray Phoenix was kind of like, okay, that's something I didn't expect. But, some I didn't expect. But what do you know? But yeah, Toronto, Miami, Sunday night. Oh, there is a little bit of Toronto on the freaking commercial. I was like, oh, wow. didn't think they would do that at all. Okay. 6 p.m. Central, or yeah, the kickoff is 6 p.m. That sounds like a good day, Isaiah. That sounds like a good day. Televisa is going to rob Cruz Azul, and Inter Miami is going to rob LAFC because they don't want those teams to get eliminated because they want that to be the final. Well, you're probably right. Miami, it's only 1-0. I don't think they're going to play as bad as they did on Wednesday. Besides, I'm hearing this talk that Miami played like shit on Wednesday. I don't believe it. I didn't see it. Okay? I watch Football Americas. They're like, oh, Miami had their worst game of the year, acting like they absolutely dropped a 3 out of 10. I don't think so. But yeah, LAFC could put them away. I agree on that. LAFC had their moments to put Miami away. I agree on that. But Miami played a 3 out of 10 game. I don't believe that. I didn't see it like that. I didn't. And that was, but let's just say Miami was playing like trash. Let's just say Miami played a 3 out of 10 game. They're not doing that again next week, especially at home. And it's only 1-0. Yeah, the away goals might be against them, but I don't think that matters. I think they could win 3-0, 3-1 at home. Besides, the last time LAFC went away in Champions Cup, well, they almost blew it. Now you could say, oh, but a 2-1 scoreline. A 2-1 scoreline would put them through with the away goal. That's true. But I don't think Miami is going to do what Columbus did, as in get the goals and then just sputter out and then let them get one late. No. I think Miami will do just enough to go through, if not more. I'm not worried about Miami. And Cruz Azul playing at home. We'll see. Tori Penso's the center ref tonight. Yeah, I mean, Tori Penso's an okay referee compared to others in this league, so I'm okay with that for St. Louis's sake. Michael Radchuk, the VAR referee. We'll see. Yeah, St. Louis don't lose. Yeah, the Blues don't lose. I'm looking forward to the Toronto-St. Louis Stanley Cup final. Did you see me tell you that? I told you. I'm starting to believe the Blues and Leafs are going to play in the Stanley Cup final against each other. I'm starting to believe that's going to happen. Leafs versus Blues Stanley Cup final. I sort of win either way. I mean, if the Leafs win, I win. But if the Blues win, I still win. And we're off. Not like 2019. That was totally all Blues, no problem. But, yeah, my luck, right? The Leafs finally make the Stanley Cup for the first time in ages. First time in my life. And I think it is the first time since 1967. And it's against the Blues. My luck. My luck, right? And then they lose. 2-4 Avs. You're still down 2. And this is why I say the Blues could shock some people out of the West. You don't want to play the Blues right now. Nobody wants to play the Blues right now. I'll be rooting for the Blues wholeheartedly out of the West. There might be some Blues live streams during this Stanley Cup playoff run. I'll be honest. A lot more Leafs, but if it's an off day for the Leafs and it's an off day for no football and the Blues are playing, I might just do the Blues. I might just do the Blues game. There might be some Blues live streams during the Stanley Cup playoffs too. Who am I kidding? And who knows, maybe. And if the Leafs play the Blues in the final, well, I have to, don't I? I have to, don't I? So, we'll see. That might happen too. Definitely more Leafs Stanley Cup games that I go live for. But there might be some Blues ones, especially if they go deep. If they go to the final against the Leafs, well, hell, even if they go to the final themselves, I might just do it anyway. If the Blues play the final when the Leafs don't go, I might still do the Blues in the final anyway. So, we'll see. I still like the 90s jerseys more. I still like the 90s Blues jerseys more than the current. The current are okay. I love the Winter Classic jersey, the baby blue Winter Classic jersey. I don't really like the one they wore this year. But like their baby blue Winter Classic jersey, I love that jersey. I love the 90s Blues jersey. I've loved some of the reverse retros they've done. I'm okay with the current Tarasenko, Keith Tkachuk era jerseys. That's why I like to call them, at least. You know, I'm good with them. I like the 90s jerseys better. Which they did just wear those a couple of days ago as a throwback, so that's cool. With the red outlines, the red trim. I like that. So. Yep. America LAFC. If the Leon CAS, if Leon still get banned from the Club World Cup through CAS, they uphold the decision. Yes, there will be a Club America LAFC playoff to replace Leon. Yes. There will be. Kansas City playing forward, 4 minutes in. Oh, over the top. Has a chance, blocked away. And Kansas City are showing some fight. No, Vermees, they have some heart. They're showing some fight with Zavagnin as their interim coach without Peter Vermees. The first game in 16 years with the Kansas City, Sporting Kansas City, not coached by Peter Vermees. They're showing some fight. Man, I can't believe they fired him in the first place. Can't believe they fired him in the first place. No, because honestly, let me put it like this. I think Brady Tkachuk is the better player of the two. Do I think Brady Tkachuk will ever win a Stanley Cup or two? It depends if he stays with the Ottawa Senators, but he's been there for a while. If he leaves Ottawa, I don't think he will. I think he wants to take Ottawa to the top. They're good, but who says this stays going on? Knowing the Leafs, they might just lose to Ottawa in the first round anyway, which wouldn't shock me. But I think Matthew on honors is a better player. I think Brady as a player is a better player. Like Matthew has more honors and probably always will have more honors. They're both better than Keith, though. They're both better than their dad, which sucks for me to say that as a Blues fan. Second, is I grew up being a fan of Keith Tkachuk. I mean, he was, out of the Blues, was my favorite player for that really early mid-2000s time frame. Well, at least till Alex Steen got there, then it was both of them. I'm a Leafs fan. Like, in 2000, when Lee Stempniak got traded to the Leafs from the Blues, I met the dude at a Blues reading event in elementary school. They sent him over. The Blues did, Lee Stempniak, like 3 months before he got traded. I wanted that trade to work on both ends. I wanted Alex Steen to be good for the Blues because I loved him on the Leafs, and I wanted Lee Stempniak to do good with the Leafs. Because I was like, hey, I just met the guy. I just saw the guy at my elementary school 3 months ago, you know? Because the Blues sent him there. When the trade happened, of course, in 2008, 2009. So my point is, Matthew and Brady are both better than Keith, their dad. And I was a fan of Keith, so that's bad for me to say. It hurts for me to say that because Matthew plays for the Florida Panthers. I hate the Florida Panthers. And Brady plays for the Ottawa Senators, and I hate the Ottawa Senators. And they both play for the USA, and, well, they're not Canadian, so there you go. At least they lost to Canada, but there you go, right? But I think Brady is a better player on the merits. I think Matthew wins more. I think Matthew has more honors and will end up having more honors. I think Brady's the better player of the two, though, truly. But there you go. There we go. Not surprised the Flyers are making them. Yeah, Vermees got fired. Well, you should, because that's what they do. You should, because that's what they do. Keith fought Brady. Not as much as Matthew, but they both fight. But that's what they do. You hear a Kachuk's there, it's like, yeah, they're going to fight. Somebody's fighting. Somebody's fighting. So, there you go. But, yeah. That's the bad thing. It's like Toronto plays Ottawa and, we're dead. Well, I don't know about that, but okay, I'm kidding about that. But, like, Toronto could easily lose to Ottawa. That's a problem. Montreal could easily beat the Caps. Almost said the Habs. Montreal could easily beat the Caps. I really do. I don't think the Caps are that good. I think they're more focused on getting Ovia's record. They're not playing playoff hockey. You're going to see them sort of go into the deep end and struggle a little bit. The Habs are going to make them struggle, is all I'm saying. The Blues, well, the Blues might be the best of all four. And actually, anybody, probably like what, West 2 at this point, because the Blues are going to take number 1 the way they're going. West 2 might be the worst, and even then they're solid. So, But the Habs could easily beat the Caps. I don't want the Ottawa Senators to beat the Leafs. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, knowing the Leafs. So, there you go. Yes, because I enjoyed watching Tiffany Stratton bury Charlotte. I enjoyed watching Charlotte get booed out of that building. I enjoyed Tiffany Stratton getting her win back. Like, Charlotte freaking collapsed. Like, she couldn't talk. It was amazing. I hope Tiffany Stratton was shooting. Shoot, cowboy. I guess shoot, cowgirl. Shoot, because you know what? That was awesome. That was awesome. Shoot. 10 minutes in, 0-0. Settle. Like, I hope Triple H doesn't hold it against Tiffany Stratton because she needed that. Like, she needed that moment. She looked like a punk the whole storyline, she looked like a punk. She had to shoot on Charlotte, at least if it was a work. I don't know if it was a work shoot or an actual shoot. But the way that promo fell apart, some of it had to be a shoot. Like, Charlotte says, Ludwig was in my DMs. Like, you think that wasn't a shoot? Charlotte might have shot. I don't know. So, I hope Tiffany Stratton wins at WrestleMania. I hope they don't hold that against her because, Vince definitely would. Good thing he's gone. Yes, I did, Pacharo. I was just talking about it. Good. At least you didn't buy a Rantanen jersey. That would have sucked. Corner for St. Louis. If you bought a Rantanen jersey, that would have sucked. Because he got traded twice. Well, you got it on March 18th. He was traded by then the first time, not just the second. But, like, That was before he got traded the second time. There was still a chance he would come back in the offseason, cross in. Then he got traded again. Save by Pulse Camp. That'll be a goal kick for Sporting Kansas City. It's been punch for punch. And Kansas City has a lot of fight right now. Sounds about right. Keep them on LTIR till the playoffs. Not that it matters, because I don't think their cap is up against it. So either way. Keep them on Robidaw Island till the playoffs. 13th, 12th minute. Kyrie Shelton with a throw-in. Rantanen's been doing better recently with the Stars. Well, they're better than the Hurricanes. And besides, I don't think he wanted to be in Carolina. I don't think he wanted to be in Carolina. I think that was part of it. But even then, the Stars are a better team than Carolina. Carolina is, don't let Winvo hear this, but Carolina's mid. Good enough to come out of the Metro because, well, no, actually, well, hold on. I think the Hurricanes can beat the Caps over a 7-game series. I think the Caps might go down before the conference finals. I really do. But the Metro, I think part of the Caps being so high is the fact they're in the Metro. The Atlantic's a bloodbath. The West is a bloodbath. The Metro, no, not really. No. And they've really been trying to get Ovi's record. I don't think the Caps are as good as they look. I don't think they're as good as their record looks. I think the Habs could beat the Caps. I think the Habs could definitely do what the Leafs did to the Caps back in 2017. A rookie team getting their first chance at the playoffs as a wild card, Canadian team, has a Calder winning player. I mean, I think the Habs, I might go out there and say, I think they're at least going 6. If the Habs play the Caps, I think that series is at least going 6. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Habs win that series. And if the Caps go to 7 against the Habs, the Hurricanes could put them down. I don't think the Devils will. I don't think the Devils will put the Hurricanes down. I think, yeah, we're going to get a Hurricanes versus Habs or Caps. Habs or Caps conference semi out of the Metro. I could see the Habs go to the conference final. I really could. Honestly, I don't think the Hurricanes, they're mid. The Habs could beat the Hurricanes too. If they beat the Caps, they could beat the Hurricanes. And honestly, if the Caps go 7, the Hurricanes, that series will probably go 7. I could see it going either way. Honestly, if the Habs beat the Caps, they're going to beat the Hurricanes. If the Caps beat the Habs, that series is going either way. Like, if the Leafs make the conference final, honestly, I'd rather have the Caps or the Hurricanes than the Habs. I'm more afraid of the Habs than the Caps or the Hurricanes. I would rather have the Metro team if they made it that far. Besides, in the middle of it, they're playing either Florida or Tampa, so do with that what you will. Leafs are up 2-0. But, yeah, Caps, Hurricanes, Devils. I mean, the Devils are only in because, injuries. And it's sad to see Kevin Owens miss Mania. I'm not mad, but it's sad to see him go. Yep, the Rapids are playing tonight. Canes are not contending this year. Yeah, but the Caps aren't as good as you think. Like the Metro. Yeah, the Avalanche are down 2 against the Blues, I know. Sorry, let's go Blues. Let's go Blues! Over the bar by St. Louis City. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Until they play the Leafs in the Stanley Cup Final, then go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! And I lose anyway. And then the Blues win anyway because I can't have nothing nice. The Leafs, yeah, no, the Stanley Cup's going to be Leafs Blues. I know it. And honestly, Leafs losing 7 to the Blues. On home ice, no less, by the way. Oh, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I'd rather lose in the first round and then the Blues just win the Stanley Cup, just like 2019. I'd rather lose in the first round. Devils in 7 if they play dump and chase Canes. No. No. They don't have Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is hurt. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I mean, if Jack Hughes is back by the playoffs, but even then, the Canes. Yeah, but then again, I'm still not afraid of the Devils. That's still the first round. 18th minute. Yeah, but then you might have to play the Blues. Yeah, but Mile High, you may have to play the Blues later in the playoffs. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Off the post. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Trust me, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. Andre Palat went to the Devils? When the hell did that happen? Oh, he's 34. Okay, that doesn't matter then. Who should Orton fight? Honestly, I just hope he fights John Cena at Backlash. For the WWE Championship, of course. I don't care what he does at Mania. John Cena versus Randy Orton, please, at Backlash for the WWE Championship. "19th minute. But the Leafs are winning 2-0 at the end of the second period over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Lightning are playing tonight at 6. Wait, no, they're playing right now. Oh, the Sabres are losing by 1. Yeah, Orton should probably do an open challenge. I agree with that. That's probably what they should do. 0-0, 20th minute. Have him face, I don't know, Ray Phoenix? No, you can't do that. You have to put, I don't know. Especially if you're going to have him face Cena. You can't do that. Trick Williams? Aleister Black? No, they'll wait till the SmackDown after Mania for that one. Trick Williams. Randy Orton versus Trick Williams because, well, it didn't have to make sense. Trick thinks he could beat Randy. He jumps into the deep end. Aldis, okay, that would be good. Yeah, set up a quick feud against Randy Orton and Aldis. I mean, he's already RKO'd the dude twice. I'm sure Aldis wants to get back into the ring. I'm sure he does. Or, well, no. Aldis probably also wants to, wrestle Adam Pearce. That'd be cool. Like it's at Survivor Series, they should do Aldis versus Pearce. Because they both were wrestlers, you know. Aldis was TNA as Magnus. He was in the NWA as well as Adam Pearce. They both were World Heavyweight Champions for the NWA, National Wrestling Association. That one. That NWA. I don't know if you know. There's two. We're talking about the National Wrestling Association World Heavyweight Champions. Both Adam Pearce and Aldis were, so that's cool. I'd love to see a Aldis versus Adam Pearce match. I really would, if they would do it. I would love to see it. But Aldis also getting in the ring against Randy Orton, that would be a safe match for him. But doesn't that sort of turn Randy heel, though? Because it's like he blames Aldis for taking away the match when Owens was actually hurt. You can't really do that because he's facing John Cena next month. Be like, well, and Randy Orton's just going to RKO people for reasons because he's Randy Orton. Maybe Aldis takes offense to it. It's like, if you're going to do that, I won't get my pound of flesh. I think the Panthers are beatable. I think the Leafs played them well recently. I think Tampa versus Florida is going to be a war. If the Lightning and Panthers play each other, that's going to be a war. I think the Leafs versus Ottawa is going to be less of a war. I prefer the Lightning to go through, as I think the Leafs are better against Tampa, and they know how to beat Vasilevsky, and they've beaten them before. But I think the Leafs could handle Florida in the playoffs. I think they figured it out the last time they played them. We'll see what happens the next game, next week. But I think they figured them out. Good time, better than nothing to figure them out. We'll see what happens there. But I think the Leafs, if they win the division, I think they're going to the conference final, at least. And if they're playing the Habs, that's what I'm really worried. If they're playing the Caps, I think the Leafs win that. All things equal, I think the Leafs win that if they play the Caps. If the Leafs play the Devils, I think they win that. If the Leafs play the Hurricanes, I think they win that. Hell, I still think the Leafs beat the Habs if they play each other in the conference final. I'm just the most worried about that one, weirdly. Maybe that's 2021 talking, I don't know. But I'm the one who said the Habs would make the playoffs this year. I'm the one who's been saying since frickin' October the Habs were going to make the playoffs this year. Even Rory lost faith. He did. You did. You did. I've been saying the Habs would make the playoffs the whole time. What are they doing? Tight defense. Strong play. Finding a way to beat Bobrovsky. Put it on net. Go to the net. Go to the net. Tough defense. Good movement. Good skating. Didn't hurt that some of their best players were hurt, but it's good to have belief that they could beat them and they could beat Bob. Ostrak coming on for St. Louis. 25th minute. Definitely back and forth. So. You're talking to Mile High or me? Because if you're talking to me, Rory, you told me you were losing faith about the Habs like about a month ago. Was it a month and a half ago? Like when things were looking a bit... When they had that little bit of a losing streak, you were losing faith like right before the Four Nations. You were. And I've been the one saying the Habs are going to make the playoffs the whole year. So, you're talking about Mile High. So. Ostrak playing forward. 27th minute. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. You ain't making the Stanley Cup final. You won't be making the Stanley Cup final. The Avs won't make the Stanley Cup final. It's either going to be Vegas or, if it ain't the Blues, it's either going to be Vegas or Dallas. It's going to be the Blues, though. I just know. This looks way too familiar. The Blues are going to the Stanley Cup. This looks way too familiar. But even if it isn't, I have more faith in Dallas or Vegas. I'd say Blues, Dallas, Vegas, then the Avs. I'd say the Avs are tied with Vegas, but Blues are going to make it. The Blues are too damn hot. This is like 2019, baby. This is exactly like 2019. I've seen this before, man. I've seen this before. What the Blues are doing, I've seen this before. You don't want to play the Blues. You don't want the St. Louis Blues. Nobody wants the St. Louis Blues. You get the St. Louis Blues? Oh, hell, I don't even want the Leafs to play the Blues. Hell, I don't even want the Stanley Cup to be Leafs versus Blues because I'm afraid of that. My luck, it's going to be, when the Leafs make the Cup, it's going to be Leafs Blues. And Leafs losing 7 on home ice. I don't even want that. Well, the Leafs side of me doesn't want it, but that me doesn't want it. This me, well, I'll accept the good out of the bad. But this me would be, yeah, I'll accept the good out of the bad. But I know damn well, I don't want the Blues. Yeah, they're top of the Atlantic. The Leafs are the first place team in the Atlantic. And will be tonight as long as they don't blow it to, well, even if they did blow it to Columbus, they'd still be top of the Atlantic. Did I just jinx them? Probably, yeah. True. See, I have more faith in the Blues because I've actually seen them win a Stanley Cup. I've actually seen them play out of the second round. I've actually seen them play conference finals before. I've never seen the Leafs do that. I've only seen them play 5 games. Well, actually, no. I've seen them play the second round twice. They did win 2 the first time. 3 second round wins in my lifetime. 3. I've never seen them go farther than that. Never. I didn't say nothing about the Oilers, Mile High. I didn't say nothing about them. Last I checked, McDavid's not the Oiler that went to St. Louis. Last I checked. That was Broberg and Holloway. By the way, guess who really was pushing that Oilers team to the Stanley Cup final? Oh, yeah, Broberg and Holloway. Yeah. Turns out they mattered a lot. Shot. Pompeu. Steps up. Save by Polskamp. Turns out they mattered a lot. See, I have more faith in the Blues because I've seen them win something before. I've never seen the Leafs play farther than the second round. Hopefully this year that changes. I think it will. They'll let me down, but I think they will. They'll let me down. Like they always do. I just hope it's the second round this time. At least it's setting up to, hey, at least we got our pass to the second round because we're playing Ottawa. Like the early 2000s. They'll let me down. See, that's why. See, I don't believe in the Leafs as the players. See, here's the funny part, right? I believe in the Leafs this year, not because of the players. I believe in them because of Craig Berube. Because he's the one who won that damn cup. See, it all comes back to the Blues. See, it all comes back to the Blues. I believe in the Leafs because of Craig Berube, not because of those players. Not because of the players. I believe in Craig Berube because he's a winner. He's a winner. If we win, it's because of him. I know he can win a Stanley Cup. I saw him do it. But what do you believe in the Blues then with Jim Montgomery? Because look at what they're doing right now. Honestly, that wouldn't shock me. I mean, watching the Kings play the couple of times I've watched them play, they really are good. But when they played the Leafs, solid. I'm surprised the Leafs figured out the win, but it's a good thing they did. And I'm also surprised that the Blues kept it close, but the Kings are a very solid team. The Kings are exactly the type of team who could beat the Oilers. The Oilers are mid this year, but the Kings are very good defensively. They know how to shut down big players. They know how to win. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. The Oilers aren't that good this year, one. Second of all, the Kings are solid, which I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying that. But they are. Like, I've seen them play some really good hockey and still lose. They're tough. I don't want to see the Kings again. If I'm talking about the Leafs, I think the Blues are too damn good right now. So that's the good news. 34th minute. But the Kings are solid. See, the Blues, the thing about them, the good news about them, they kept it close when they played them in LA. But the Blues are just getting better. And also, the team is just good themselves. The teams are just good themselves. There's not big players they really could shut down. The team is a team. Also, yeah, the Blues took it to overtime against the Kings when they played on Matrix Midwest in Channel 4, which is how I got to watch the game because YouTube TV doesn't have Midwest, FSN, FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. They don't. I just call it FSN because that's what it is. Again, FSN Midwest, because that's exactly what it is. FanDuel F, Sports S, Network N, Midwest. That's also probably just nostalgia talking, but what do I know? Lane Hudson's going to win the Calder. Hey, don't piss off the Sharks fans or the Ducks fans who think, no. 35th minute. No, we're not even going. A goalie's not winning the Calder. Stop it. But don't let no Sharks fans hear you. They're going to get pissed. They think Celebrini is better than Hudson. They're wrong. Like, Celebrini's not bad. Don't get me wrong. He's not Bedard. Connor Bedard's a flop. Connor Bedard's a bust. I'm calling it now. He's a bust. He needs to get out of Chicago. Or get out of Chicago. He's a bust. Celebrini's awesome. The Sharks are good. The Sharks are good. Hudson's better. Bedard's a bust. I know he was last year, but he's a bust. Bedard's a bust. Like, he's a bust. McDavid will show up, but the team's even worse than they were last year. McKinnon better than McDavid. Ooh. It's close. I can't say that. No, I can't say that. It's close, but I can't say that. 37th minute. Well, we can all agree Connor Bedard's a fraud. We can all agree on that, right? Fraud. 37th minute. 0-0. Back and forth. Playing forward. Oh, St. Louis plays it back. Shot Morales over the bar. Just barely. Good shot, but just barely from Morales. Celebrini better than Georgiev. Well, Georgiev's been around for like a decade. And he's a goalie. Your point? Yeah, Celebrini's better than him. Your point? Your point? Shot saved by Ben Luntz and cleared. Blackwood just robbed the Blues in the slot. He's a good goalie. Like, he's a good goalie. He should. Sometimes. Still got 4 put past him. Good goalie, though. He's normally a good goalie. I think he's good. I think he's been better. Bennington committing robbery. That's always what he does. Come on. Jordan Bennington does that all the time. Like, are we talking about the same guy here? Jordan Bennington is the most clutch goalie in the NHL. I'm not saying he's the best. He's the most clutch. When it matters, when he's on a heater, there's nobody better. And when the game matters, there's nobody better. That also scares me if the Leafs played the Blues. I love Anthony Stolarz. I love Joseph Woll. I think they're both good goalies. I don't know how clutch they are, but I know Jordan Bennington's clutch. I know when he's on, he's on. When Jordan Bennington's on, he's on. Whether it's for Canada or for the Blues, he's on. And they're hot. And he's on. When he's off, oh yeah, he's off. And he's a head case. I mean, I'll admit that. Yeah, Jordan Bennington, there's a head case streak out of him. When he's off, he's a head case. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying he isn't. When Ville Husso became the starter for a while, well, yeah. But when Bennington's on, there's nobody better. There's nobody better. When he's on, he's on. When he's on, he's on. You know, besides Craig Berube, you know, really the only reason the Blues won in 2019 was Jordan Bennington. You do realize that he's the main reason on the ice why they won. You do realize that, right? I don't think Hill. Also, the main reason why Canada won the final against the USA was Jordan Bennington going full 2019 Jordan Bennington, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised the Blues are doing what they're doing now. It started the Four Nations face-off. And then everybody else just got on the train and said, okay, we know where this is going. We know where this is going. Yeah, I should have known. I should have known this was coming. Watching the Four Nations final, I should have been like, oh yeah, no, the Blues are going on fire. They're about to go off. They're just about to go off on a 10-12 game winning streak and just like blow everybody out the water and then go to the Stanley Cup final. I should have known. When Bennington went full 2019, I'm like, yep, That's about the time to do it. Yep, that's about right. They're going to go off. This will continue in St. Louis, and they'll just go off. I should have known. I should have seen this coming then. I didn't. I should have, because I've seen it before. But, yeah, no, Jordan Binnington's the reason why the Blues got there in the first place on the ice. And then he's the reason they won. So, yeah, no, I'll take Jordan Binnington over Aiden Hill any day, twice on Sunday. As a Stanley Cup final, or just a Cup final goalie. Canada at the Olympics, 4 nations, Stanley Cup final. Yeah. I like Anthony Stolarz. I like Joseph Woll, but 43rd minute. Little piece of advice to the Leafs. Oh, no. I won't do that. I won't do that. That's wrong. It's wrong to it's wrong to say you want somebody's goalie ran. If you want to win, you got to run the goalie. You can't do that. No, that's wrong. You shouldn't say hey, you want to win, run the goalie. You can't do that. If it happens, it happens, but you can't. If it happens, it happens, but if they run the goalie and it happens, but you can't just say, hey, run the goalie. You want to win, run the goalie. You can't do that. Over the bar. Can't do that. Like, Florida beat Auburn. Let's go. Yes. Yes. Auburn sucks. Yes. Florida's going to the national championship. Yes, I'm rooting for Florida to win the national championship for the same reason I'm rooting for the Steelers. Yes. For the same reason I'm bandwagoning the Steelers. Yes, if you were wondering. Yes. I'm sure you could figure that out, but I'll say it anyway. 44th minute. Playing forward, Sporting Kansas City. Joveljic gets blocked. I don't like Auburn anyway, but I mean, if he drops to that far down the board, yeah, sure. He won't. He won't drop that far down the board, but if he does, I think they will. I think they will if he drops that far down the board. They'd be stupid not to, considering. They'd be stupid not to. Speaking of, I think I will do the first round of the NFL draft live again. I think I will. I mean, the Leafs or the Patriots are picking 4th. I think I'll do that again. I think I will do the NFL draft first round live again. Let me see what's going on, but let me see what's going on around the time, but I think I am. I think 2 minutes of stoppage time. So, just like last year. So, we'll see. What's your favorite kind of Sara Lee cheesecake? Like the no-bake cheesecakes you put in the fridge, like the regular no-bake cheesecakes, like the extra graham cracker crust. Those. Like the ones you just mix and put in the freaking the fridge to set. The normal ones, those. 46th minute. Playing forward. The Sara Lee brand, I know. But just the normal, no-bake cheesecakes with the extra graham cracker crust, or at least that sets in the fridge. They like put the graham cracker crust on top of the cheesecake, like some of the extra graham cracker dust. Ooh. whether it falls off the bottom when you take it out or, oh. Wait. Is that a Super Mario Logan joke? Wait, whoa. Is that a Super Mario Logan joke? I know what you're referencing. That's Super Mario Logan. What? Yes, I do. Or I used to, yes. I used to, yes. When I used to watch Super Mario Logan. I used to. I used to. "47th-minute free kick for Kansas City." Headed away. I tried cheesecake for the first time because of Shrek. No, you tried cheesecake for the first time because of Super Mario Logan. Going to Avs versus Vegas on Tuesday. That sounds nice. You win either way. Halftime, 0-0. 0-0, miro tiempo. You win either way. Nil-nil at the half. Back and forth. Kansas City's had their moments, but St. Louis has stood firm. That's probably the way you should do it. Yeah, exactly. Wear a Knights t-shirt under. But 4-0 Leafs. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Oh, I didn't know he went there, huh? 2 goals, William Nylander. Robertson, 2 goals. Ha! 23 saves on 23 shots for Anthony Stollers. Oh! How we doing, Henry? That is 2 more points for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's add those on. 97, 98. The Lightning will be at 95. Oh, they're tied with the Sabres with 2 minutes to go. Take it to overtime. Take it to overtime, Buffalo. Come on. Take it to overtime. They still got a point, and if they win, it doesn't matter. They still get 2, but take it to overtime. I don't ask for much. 0-0 at the half. Come on, take it to overtime. James Reimer is playing for the Sabres. And they pulled him. Off of 2 goals, they pulled James Reimer? Why would you do that to Optimus Rhyme? What are you doing? Well, 5-0. Holy shit. They just scored another goal, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh. We don't know who scored the 5th. They just scored another goal. That's 5. Hit him with a 5. Yeah, I could have checked ESPN. What we got? Austin Matthews. 30th goal of the season. Let's go. That's what we love that. 2 points. They could pick up some. No, I didn't laugh at it. No. Didn't even pay attention. Yes. With that being said, you see El Farolito SC. Taco Shop! Taco Shop! Yes. They made some cup sets last year, and they've made more cup sets this year. I'm riding with the Taco Shop. Let's go. Because Des Moines couldn't get the job done. I'm riding with a Taco Shop. Let's go. Let's go. I'm riding with a Taco Shop, boys. Let's go. Come on. Because Arsenal are bottle jobs. They forever will be. They don't know how to win. Well, that means we'll take a short break at half, talk about the stats, get this one going, sit tight, be back. 0-0 at the half. We'll be back. We're back for the stats, the half. Back for the stats, the half. Yeah, they smell the Club World Cup. They smell the Club World Cup. They got to get better. Just like the Intercontinental Cup. They're smelling it. They're smelling it. They're smelling it. Smelling it. With that being said, stats to have 54% possession to 46% possession, 2 shots to 6, 2 shots on goal to 1, 4 fouls and 9, 229 accurate passes, 86% to 191, 84%, 1 corner to 1, 2 shots to 6, 2 shots on goal to 1, 265 passes to 228, 86% pass accuracy to 84, 8 throws to 6. We got 1 offside to 0, 2 yellows to 1, 0 reds to 0, 0-0 at the half. For me, I think it's been back and forth. Very back and forth in this game. St. Louis, I think, slightly have looked better attacking-wise, but you see a lot of fight out of Sporting Kansas City. You see some jump. You see some fight out of Kansas City. And because they fired Vermees, that's probably why that's happening. They want to make a point, right? It's that new manager bounce. But with that being said, you can see that they're fighting. You can see they have a jump they haven't had in a while. Maybe since they beat St. Louis in the playoffs. You can see they have that jump that they haven't had in a while. So you'll see. But I feel like St. Louis are slightly the better team right now. But Kansas City has a jump they haven't had in a while. And that definitely has shown, given them some moments not to lose this game or possibly take a lead, but they didn't. Ben Lunt made a couple of saves. St. Louis is taking shots. But in the end, I think St. Louis slightly are better. But in the end, we'll see what happens over the next 45. Wouldn't shock me if either of these teams won this match. Wouldn't shock me if it was a 1-1, 2-2 draw. Wouldn't shock me if it was 0-0 either. But I lean more towards St. Louis, but I wouldn't, both biased and unbiasedly. The way I've seen this game played, I lean towards St. Louis, and then biasedly, of course, I lean towards them. But I think they can win. I think they can win this game. So we'll see. Who wins first league championship, Arsenal or Pumas? Pumas. No, I don't. St. Louis, empty net, 5-3 Blues. Yes, let's go. 5-4. Are you going to watch Ovechkin break the scoring record tomorrow? No, because Toronto FC plays tomorrow. If it was against the Leafs, I might consider it. But maybe I'll put on another screen. Maybe I'll use the computer for the Ovechkin game. But I'll at least see the clip when he does. Yeah, he'll probably score 1 goal tomorrow. It's Ovi. On Sorokin, by the way. And the Islanders suck. Sorry, Daniel. And Sorokin, well, he hasn't scored on Sorokin yet. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Ovi will probably score 1 tomorrow. Blues barely escape. Well, at least they got the win. That's 12, right? It's 12, right? But we'll see. We'll see if I pop up that game on the other screen. But the Blues don't lose. The St. Louis Blues don't lose. Hopefully until the Stanley Cup final when they play the Leafs. Then I hope they start losing. But 12 in a row. There we go. Yeah, 12. The Blues don't lose. The St. Louis Blues have a new franchise record for consecutive wins. Guess when they set the other one? Set the old record. I'll give you one guess. When they set the old record for consecutive franchise wins. When they do that the last time? When was the last time they set the record? Yes, 2019. What did they do that year? Exactly, win the Stanley Cup. So, who was in goal that year? Jordan Bennington, right. They had just fired a coach and hired another one, right? Yeah. Who was on the bench? Jim Montgomery used to coach in St. Louis as an assistant. I think he was there in 2019 as an assistant, by the way. So, but yeah, Montgomery won the problem at Boston, but they were bound to bottom out, and they fired him because they needed a freaking scapegoat. But it's just like the Blues firing Berube last year in 2024 or in 2023 going into 2024. And the Leafs should have done exactly what the Blues did to Jim Montgomery. As soon as the Blues fired Berube, they should have fired Sheldon Keefe and hired Berube, the Leafs. At least they planted a tree 6 months later. First best time to plant it was 6 months ago, but at least they... Either way, they wouldn't have wasted a playoff run if they hired Berube halfway through the year when the Blues dumbassly fired him. But in the end, they still got him. But I like Jim Montgomery. I think he's a very good coach. I never had problems with him as a Boston Bruin. I thought he was a very good coach, and he kept them alive for a little bit longer than if he wasn't there. And then as soon as they fired him, well, they're the worst team in the league, which I do enjoy. And we're off in the second half, which I do enjoy. And then the Blues are a Stanley Cup contender. So I enjoy that as well. And we could definitely see a Leafs-Blues Stanley Cup final. With a former champion coach of the Blues now coaching the Leafs, my number one team playing my number two team with a new half-season coach in Jim Montgomery, who was also an assistant of the Blues back in the day before he went to Dallas and then Boston. Because he was in Dallas, then Boston, yes. So, I think he was on the bench with the Blues that year in 2019 with Berube. But let me check. I think he didn't leave until after that. Hold on. I think he was on the bench that summer. Hold on. He used to be the assistant to the Blues. Yep, St. Louis Blues 2020 to 2022. No, he was the assistant after, but he did coach with Berube. Montgomery did coach with Berube. He coached the Stars against Berube in the playoffs and then was his assistant during the pandemic, post-pandemic, for 2 years, and then went to the Boston Bruins. So, the team the Blues beat in the Stanley Cup final when Bruce Cassidy was coaching them, but either way. So, actually, it was after. They beat Montgomery and the Stars. Then Montgomery coached the Blues as an assistant with Berube, but he was on Berube's staff for a while for one of their playoff runs as well. And then he coached the Bruins and then came back to St. Louis. So he was on Berube's staff at least. So they've coached together. So at least there's that. And still the same squad pretty much that won the Stanley Cup by the time he got there. Their best playoff run since the Stanley Cup until now. So the season that led up to that. So there you go. How many more years does Messi have left in Miami? Probably 2 at best. I'd say 2. What happens next? They turn into Atlanta. Like, I don't think MLS is going to let Miami fail. I think they're going to hand them a lot of layups. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if MLS tries to give Miami a lot of layups to try to still succeed once Messi leaves. It wouldn't shock me at all. Over the bar, over Pulse Camp. It wouldn't shock me at all. But he's got about 2 years left there. Do you expect Messi or Suarez to do a hat trick against Toronto? No, because they're going to have to rotate so they can play on Wednesday against LAFC. I do believe Miami's going to do a little bit of rotation. I don't see Messi. I don't think Toronto's defense is that bad, as I've said, though, as well. Let me also clear up that I I legit don't believe Toronto's defense is that bad. I don't think Toronto's defense is bad enough to allow one guy to score 3 goals on them in 45 minutes. That's the most I think Messi and Suarez are going to play. And I got to be honest, I feel like Suarez is sort of washed up this year. Suarez don't look as good as he did last year. This year. He definitely looks like Father Time is calling his name, to be real, at least football-wise. But I think Suarez might be better as a super sub right now, to be real. Like Messi and Suarez together, they both walk. It makes things a bit harder. I don't think Suarez should be the starter. I think things are going off the rails for him. So, no, I don't. I think they're going to rotate tomorrow. I don't think Messi or Suarez are going to play more than 45 minutes against Toronto, and I don't think Toronto's defense is bad enough to let either of them score a hat trick in 45 minutes. Now, do they both score? Who knows? Possible. But I don't see a hat trick happening. Nice. 50th minute, and Denby going wide. Cleared away by St. Louis. So, we'll see. We'll see. Good Avs game. We had chances on to Las Vegas. Hey, the Avs fought their way back, but the Blues still won. Thanks to that empty net goal. And then the Avs still scored one late to make it 1. Corner for Kansas City. Cross in, header. Definitely the closest the Blues have been to lose. Does Messi like Miami enough to stay as a coach? I think he likes Miami. He might just stay to stay. I don't think he's coaching. I think Messi knows he's too good to be a coach. Cristiano, I could see him trying to coach to keep his name out there. I could see 98 points for the Leafs. 6 up. Oh my God, the Sabres won in the shootout. The Sabres won in the shootout. So that's 93. I think that's 94 now. The Leafs are 4 points up on the Lightning and 6 points up on the Panthers. You beat them both, you're winning the division. Beat them! You beat them both, you win the division. Hell, you beat one, you probably win the division, but you got to beat the Lightning. You need to win that game if you're the Leafs. If you beat both the Panthers and Lightning back-to-back, you win the division. Pretty much. With 4 games left, I think you pretty much got it. 53rd minute. So, basically, beat the Panthers, beat the Lightning. That would be 99, 100 points, 102. You beat 10 to 8 points up on the Panthers and 9-something points up on the Lightning. With 4 games to go, I think that's enough to win the division. So all you got to do, if you're the Leafs, is beat the Panthers, beat the Lightning, and you'll win the division. Even if you drop the last 4, you'd still win the division. And you're playing the Sabres, so you're playing the Hurricanes, the Canadiens, Sabres, and Red Wings. You're at least winning 2 of those. You win 4 your last 6, you win the division. If CR7 wins something, anything, as a manager, is he overall better than Messi? No. As a manager, of course, but I don't see Messi. I think Messi is secure in himself to admit he can't coach. He knows he's too good to coach. He's not a Maradona. He's more like a Pele. I never saw Pele coach. I don't think he did. Messi knows he's too good to coach. Cristiano is going to try. He probably would suck, but he's going to try. He's going to try. He's too egotistical not to try. Messi, I think he knows he's too good to coach. He's too good to actually teach. Like, it's a wonder Albert Pujols, let me throw this to baseball. It's a wonder that Albert Pujols is a good manager. If you watch the Caribbean series, Albert Pujols is a very good manager. But that's rare. For somebody, and baseball is a different sport, it is, but Albert Pujols is one of the best players of all time in baseball. And he's a manager now. And he's a good one. That doesn't normally happen. Now, I think Albert was always a student of the game when it came to baseball. And I think later in his career, he became a player coach, sort of. Especially with the Cardinals that last year, because he loves St. Louis. I mean, hell, on MLB Network, he lied through his damn teeth when he was on MLB Now a couple of days ago saying, oh, the Cardinals can win the Central. He was lying through his damn teeth because he bleeds red. Albert was lying through his damn teeth. And he said Marmol's a good manager, which he has been in the locker room with Marmol for a year. He was the reason why that team was good. Pujols and Yachty still being there that last year. But Albert, he was lying through his damn teeth. But he loves the Cardinals. He is a Cardinal. But he was lying through his damn teeth. That Cardinals team is not winning the Central. I don't care. Hell, they haven't really started the year that good. They just started okay. Hartel with the corner. Maradona was still, as a manager, a nut job. He did win things with Dorados, though, yeah. That was a fun time, though. Maradona coaching Dorados was a fun time, I won't lie. But he was a nut job. But wasn't Maradona? Maradona was always a nut job. Who are we kidding? He never wasn't a nut job. All respect, but the man was a nut job. 56th minute. Corner for St. Louis. Cross in. Header saved by Pulskamp. That was pretty fun, though. But my point being is this. Great players, like actually Hall of Fame level players, best of all time level players, they can't coach. Like, I don't even think Tom Brady would be a good NFL coach. He's good where he is. Announcing, because he could read the game. He's a student of the game. But Tom Brady wouldn't know the first damn thing about how to be an offensive coordinator. Yeah, he could motivate his team, but Brady would be a worse coach than player. He's better as an announcer because he could read the game and tell you what's going on and tell you that the quarterback play nowadays is shit, but whatever. He's not a coach. Like, I would root for Tom's teams if he coached. Like, he's an owner now, so he probably won't do that. But say he chose to say, screw it, I'm doing it myself with the Las Vegas Raiders. I would hope he succeeds, but he's not a coach. Albert Pujols, I think he'll be a good baseball manager. He's the exception to the rule, is my point. Albert is not egotistical. He's very humble. But Albert is an exception to the rule of a Hall of Fame level player at any sport being a good manager and being a winner. Brady would suck as an NFL coach. Messi knows he would suck as a football manager. Cristiano's an egotistical jackass who would try anyway because he needs to be in front of the camera. Just like, well, Maradona is just a nut job. Maradona's a nut job, so that's different, but closer to Cristiano than Messi. My point is there ain't many Albert Pujolses. Do I think if Kobe stayed alive and didn't die, do I think Kobe would have been a good coach if he tried? Yeah. Kobe would have been one of those exceptions to the rule. I think Kobe would have been an exception to the rule. Like, he'd be like Albert. Kobe would have been a star, Hall of Fame level player who would have been a great coach. I do believe that. If he didn't die, if Kobe didn't pass, he would have been a good coach if he tried. I believe that 100%, that he would have been one of those exceptions to the rule. Because that's just Kobe. I don't think LeBron would be a good coach, no matter how much we mean the fact of GM LeBron. It was more LeBron GM than coach. But I don't think LeBron would be a good basketball coach. I don't. JJ Redick was never a star, by the way. JJ was a role player who... JJ's a very good coach, but he was always a role player. Let's just be real. I mean Hall of Fame level player. I don't mean role player. I don't mean JJ Redick. I don't mean... Jurgen Klopp was a role player, right? Back at football. They're not what he did. But LeBron would never be a good basketball coach. Jordan was a horrible GM and horrible owner and would have been a horrible coach. Kobe would have been an amazing coach. I believe that 100%. It's sad that he passed. I think I could have totally seen a 60, 70-year-old Kobe coaching. If not in the NBA, the WNBA. I could have totally... You know what? If Kobe didn't pass... If Kobe didn't die, I could have seen Kobe coaching in the WNBA with his daughter, with Gigi. I could have seen it. I definitely could have seen that happening. And Kobe would have been an amazing coach. Even if it wasn't the NBA, I think Kobe would have been one of those exceptions to the rule, is my point. About Hall of Fame level, GOAT level players being a good coach or not being a good coach. Like Albert Pujols. I believe he's an exception to the rule. I think Albert Pujols, when he gets to the MLB, he's also going to coach the World Baseball Classic for the Dominican next year. I think it'll be amazing. But Albert shouldn't be an amazing coach because he's Albert Pujols. But he will be. And he is. And I hope Albert coaches the Cardinals. If he coaches anything, I hope it's the Cardinals, because it would be weird if he didn't. Unless it was the Blue Jays, then I'd accept that. But that's just me. But it's got to be the Cardinals. It's got to be the Cardinals that Albert coaches. It's got to be. It's got to be. And they would win. They would win. Messi's not that guy, is my point. Messi is not that guy. He knows he can't coach. He knows he's not going to be a good coach. And he's not an egotistical jackass like Cristiano, who would try just to keep his face in front of the cameras. Messi can find ways to keep his face in front of the cameras without coaching. We'll find out about that on April 10th, Risklander. Next Thursday, we'll find out. And I'll be live for it. We'll find out. Eli or Breeze would be good for a coaching job. Yeah, you know what? I hate to admit it, but you're right. Eli and Breeze and even Peyton, to a certain extent, seem to be exceptions to the rule. But I wouldn't call Eli a GOAT. He was a solid player. Drew Brees, I love Drew Brees, but GOAT? Like, top 5? Like, I think Drew Brees is a top 5 quarterback all the time, but I know I'm delusional. Peyton, I could call him a pure exception to the rule about coaching. But Brees, you're reaching. Eli, you're reaching even harder. Brees, you're kind of reaching, but I could call him an exception to the rule. I think he's on that borderline of, if he was a coach, he'd be exception to the rule. He'd be damn near GOAT level. And he would be exception to the rule there. I wouldn't call Eli an exception to the rule, but I would call Peyton one. I think Peyton would be a good coach too. Eli, you're reaching with Breeze already. Then you're just reaching even further with Eli. Eli's not a GOAT. He may be in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls, but he ain't no GOAT. But Eli would be a good coach. I'll admit that, yeah. Breeze, you're kind of reaching, but I'll give you that one. I'll say he's just there, but he would be an exception to the rule of that. Great player, bad coach. He'd be a very good coach, be an exception to the rule, while also being a great player. Brady'd be a horrible coach. Brady, I don't want to see him do it. Like, I'd be happy if he tried to be on TV. He's already on TV as an announcer, though. So, no, he shouldn't try. Leave it alone, Brady. Leave it alone. You'd be a horrible coach. He did everything by himself so much. Simon Betcher is coming on for Celio Pompeu. Breeze Goat in San Diego. No. That was all New Orleans. That was all New Orleans, kid. That was all New Orleans, kid. Breeze became the GOAT. He became the New Orleans GOAT for sure, but he was not. He was okay in San Diego, but he wasn't New Orleans Drew Brees. Drew Brees became something so much better in New Orleans. That's Drew Brees. I do think of Phillip Rivers. When I think of the San Diego Chargers, I think of LaDainian Tomlinson, Phillip Rivers, Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow, Doug Flutie. I don't think of Drew Brees. When I think of Drew Brees, I think of the New Orleans Saints because, well, I am a Saints fan. The Saints are my hometown team. The closest thing that I have to a hometown team. I like the Saints. I think of Drew Brees as a Saint. I'm probably biased, but I do. But I don't think anybody thinks of Drew Brees as a Charger. They think of Rivers, Flutie, Kellen Winslow, Dan Fouts, Vincent Jackson, LaDainian Tomlinson, Junior Seau. They don't think of Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a Saint. He is a New Orleans Saint. He ain't no San Diego Charger to me. Nah, he's a Saint. He's a Saint. What if Canada got Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Saudi Arabia? I'd be pissed. Oh, no, that'd be a horrible situation. I wouldn't say horrible because Canada should beat them all, but it'd be tough. Like, it wouldn't be an easy group. Like, they have a pot one slot. They get the hardest teams out of each pot. Just my luck, right? They're going to have to be tough. They have to be perfect to get out of the group or even win the group. Like, I want an easy group. Hard group might mean they have a better chance of winning the trophy, but say they get a group like you just said the last time they were in the Gold Cup, they wouldn't even have made the knockouts. I'm sure they'll be better this time. I'm sure they'll be better in the group stage this time, and they'll have a little bit better of a squad than they did in 2023. But I would prefer, well, of course, we're going to know the group before we know the squad. But once we know the squad, when we know the group, we're going to see. We're going to see. But I don't think the squad will be as questionable as 2023's. Hell, even Jonathan David, probably not, because Leo's not going to the Club World Cup. Davies got hurt, so we were losing him either way, and then he blew his ACL out. So, okay. Shot, blocked. So either way, we were losing Davies anyway. We weren't losing David unless he was going to leave Lille and sign for a team in the Club World Cup and play there during the Club World Cup. But he also would have a preseason. So really, they could be like, hey, come in for the preseason, go to the Gold Cup, and there you go. Since he was on a free. So I think David will still be at the Gold Cup. I do. Even if he signs for a team in the Club World Cup, they would rather give that to the team who earned it, so to speak, or was planning to go. I think he'll be at the Gold Cup. Davies, he was going to be at the Club World Cup, if not blowing out his ACL, so we lost him anyway, even before the ACL. And besides, I think the team's better without him. To be honest, I think Canada's better without him right now. To be real, I think Davies is doing too much, man. I think they might be better without him. They've had a couple of games without him since Marshes came in. You know what? I think they're better without him. He's doing too much. I think this might not be as bad as you think for Canada. Davies blowing out his ACL. Either way, he wouldn't have been at the Gold Cup anyway. So, even if he didn't blow it out. So, I mean, I want a medium group. I don't want an easy group. I don't want a hard group. I want a group that prepares us for the knockout stage, helps the team build, but not too hard, like not Costa Rica, Guatemala, Saudi Arabia. I want at least one easy team, if not half the group being an easy team. Like, I want a group that I know we can get through, but at least we have a challenge in our final game, right? I don't want a group where all 3 games are a challenge. I want an easy game. Do I want a group where all 3 games are easy on paper? No. Do I want a group where all 3 games are hard? No. Do I want a group of 1 or 2 easy games? Probably 1. Yes, that's what I want. But we'll see what happens on April 10th. How we doing, Nestor? But I think Canada's going to be fine without Davies. Yeah, that's the problem. Pod 4 is actually pretty tough. Like, Saudi Arabia is tough, but Guadeloupe, Dominican Republic, they're tough too. Like, it's a really solid Gold Cup. I mean, you want to be real? Actually, looking at the pots for the Gold Cup, they're all pretty solid. Like, you're getting solid teams, honestly, no matter what. Like at the Gold Cup. Actually, let me look this up. Gold Cup. Perfect. Like, let's look at this, okay? Let's just look at this. Good, just chilling. Good. Playing forward, 70th minute, Kansas City. Still 0-0. The game between Red Bulls and Chicago was a boring game, but at least we won. Figured Chicago or Red Bulls would win. My bad. I figured Chicago would lose. But let's look at the pots. Let's look at the pots. Pot 1, Canada's getting into Group B. We know B1, A1, B1, C1, D1. We know Canada's going to Group B. Pot 2, we got Costa Rica, Jamaica, Honduras, Haiti. All those teams are solid, even Haiti. Pot 3, Guatemala, Trinidad, Tobago, El Salvador, Suriname. All solid teams. Pot 4, Guadeloupe, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is only 12th, or the 16th team in the pot, the 4th team in the pot because they're AFC. And there's a goal. Dejan Joveljic scores for Kansas City. It's 1-0. Dejan Joveljic. What do you know? St. Louis are down 1-0. Their 3rd goal allowed all season. Dejan Joveljic. Well, yeah. You might get it. Dejan Joveljic scores, 71st minute. 1-0. Playing forward. Played it around the midfield. Plays it through. Dejan's right there. Nobody's on him. Boom. Keeper's way off his line, and Dejan just rolls it in. You can't let him do that. Can't let him do that. It's too good. It's too damn good. 1-0 for Kansas City. Dejan Joveljic. Can't give him that much space. You can't do that. No. Dejan's too good. Can't give him that much space. Dejan Joveljic, 1-0, 72nd minute. St. Louis has got to find one. Curacao sucks, though. Well, they're not that bad, but, like, if I was Canada, here's the draw I want. Canada, Group B, top of Group B. I want Haiti. I want Canada, Haiti, Suriname, Curacao. That's what I want. I want Canada, Haiti, Suriname, Guadeloupe. Honestly, give me Guadeloupe. Fine. Do that again. I want some revenge for last time. Give me Guadeloupe. I prefer Curacao. I don't really want Saudi Arabia. Bruins are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Miz! Get out! I feel like Curacao will be a USA's group. Well, give me Guadeloupe then. Give me Guadeloupe then. 73rd minute. Get out! Cross in. Playing forward. St. Louis trying to find an answer. They lost 1-0 last week to Austin. Betcher blocked. 1-0 Kansas City. You just knew that Kansas City was going to somehow win this game after Vermees got sacked. They had the balls to sack him, and now they might find a win. They've been solid. It's not like they don't deserve it. They do. They do deserve it. They've put out a really good performance, Kansas City. But with that being said, we'll find out April 10th. We'll be live for the Chelsea game at 11:45 on April 10th on Thursday. We'll review that game. And then 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is the Gold Cup draw. And we will see that live and review that as well on April 10th. So we got a double. 2 lives. 2 lives and 2 reviews on April 10th. Just like Tuesday and Wednesday, just a different way. 75th minute, Champions Cup Tuesday, Wednesday, of course. I'll be live tomorrow for Toronto FC versus Miami. I'll review this game as well, of course. There'll be a review out for this game right now when it finishes within the hour. I will be here 6 p.m. Central for Toronto FC versus Miami. We'll be live. We'll review that. Monday off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Champions Cup. 2 lives. Actually, no. Miami's the only one on Wednesday. Yeah, because they play early. So both games on Tuesday. Live RSR. Wednesday, we're only live for Miami. And then we review Miami. Then Thursday, we have a double for the Chelsea game, really early. And then Gold Cup draw. Then Friday, we recap the quarterfinals of the Champions Cup and predict the semis. Saturday, Toronto plays. Sunday, St. Louis plays. So, we'll see. 76th minute, 1-0 Kansas City. '76th minute. Playing forward, 77th minute, cross in. Header punched away. Cleared. Columbus. Well, Toronto just beat the shit out of Columbus 5-0. So playing forward, yellow card. Imagine if the Rangers make the playoffs. They won't. They won't. They're 10 points behind. There's no way. But the Bruins now eliminated. The Maple Leafs now own the longest active playoff streak at 9. I've not heard, Nestor. No, I've not heard. No, I haven't heard. But the Leafs have the longest active playoff streak. Oh, you're talking about, wild card. My bad, Sebas. Yeah, but no, I think Ottawa and Montreal have it. You're 10 points behind the division, but honestly, I think that's more likely than the wild card. But then again, if that happens, then, well, only 4 points out. Yeah, wild card, but I'm talking about division. I was looking at the division. You're right. Wild card, no, but I think Ottawa and Montreal have it. I really do. I think Ottawa and Montreal have it. Shappy's off for Eric Tommy. If Pochettino does really bad at Gold Cup, sacked. There's no way. Like, if the U.S. goes out, quarterfinals or before, he's gone. There's no other way than he's gone. You have to get rid of him. Like, if you can't succeed at the Nations League, finish 4th out of 4, and you can't get to the semifinals at the very least of the Gold Cup, you need to go. I don't care how solid the field looks. You need to go. Vancouver 2-0 Colorado Rapids. Rosero's coming on for Kansas City. 10 minutes to go. So basically what I'm saying is this. If Pochettino can't get past the quarterfinals, he needs to go of the Gold Cup. It's that simple. Because you can't make the quarterfinals. If you can't make the semifinals of the Gold Cup, you ain't doing shit at the World Cup. That's just real. If you can't finish above top 4 at the CONCACAF Nations League, you ain't doing shit at the Gold Cup. You do both of those things, you ain't doing shit at the Gold Cup. Go. Get out. I don't care. Hell, hire Greg Vanney at that point. I don't know. Hire Greg Vanney at that point. I don't know. You ain't getting Jesse Marsh, though. I think Donald Trump would make sure of that. Because, damn, that's sad. That's sad. Damn. Man, this world's going off the rails, man. That's sad. 80th minute, shot blocked away. Like, are you telling me? Like, Pochettino ain't that special. I hate to tell you. You might as well, if he can't get past the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup, even on penalties, even if it's on penalties, you can't keep him. Like, I don't care how even this Gold Cup looks. No. They got knocked out of the group. He better be gone. And besides, I'm starting to believe that American coaches understand this team better than European coaches. Because every time they hire a European coach, it goes to shit. At least Jurgen had the 2014 World Cup. He's still a jackass, but at least he had that World Cup. Pochettino didn't even have a good World Cup before it all went to shit. It just instantly went to shit. Is he that good? I don't think so. What would happen at the World Cup? If he stays and they don't get past the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup, probably out of the group stage. I'm just saying, like, there's a situation where you freaking have to just get rid of Pochettino and hope for the best. Or keep him and hope for the best. But keeping him and hoping for the best ain't work. Sometimes, here's a perfect parable. You either keep moving and move forward and hope for better, or you stay in the same place and die. If Pochettino's bad enough, I don't care how close we are, staying in the same place means you die. You move on and try to survive. And a new coach might be that. Hell, well, figuratively, you might die anyway. But it's better to try something different and not stay in the same place. Like, if a tornado's coming your way, right? You don't stand on your porch letting it run you over. You go to your basement and cover. Take cover. You go into your storm shelter, right? You move. Cross in. Header for St. Louis wide. So my point being is this. If you have to make the change, you make the change. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes making a change is the way to survive. You stand pat, you die. Cross in. And in this case, it's figurative, but it makes sense. My reaction to Kevin Owens, Randy Orton getting hurt, getting canceled because Kevin got hurt. I hate to see it. I hate to see that Kevin got hurt. That was going to be a good match, but I don't like to see that he got hurt. But only, yeah, Jose Mourinho. Well, he's coaching in Turkey, but I'm sure that won't be much longer. But yeah, I'd love to see Jose Mourinho coach the USA. If he had to coach him, I'd like to see that. Yeah. Josh McDaniels is the new OC for New England. Because he is, but I think he'll do well with Mike Vrabel. So I think he'll do well with Drake May and Mike Vrabel. So I'm good with it. It's better than the bullshit they've been pulling. 85th minute. '85th minute. '85th minute. I found out there's a Minecraft movie. It just came out yesterday, actually. I actually want to see it. Like, after all these trailers and memes, I actually want to see it. Like, I feel like Minecraft movie is going to be so bad it's good. Like, it's going to be Troll 2 levels of so bad it's good. I actually want to see it. I actually want to see it. I know, crazy. I want to see it. I want to see it. Chicken jockey. I also like the Jennifer Coolidge villager side plot. That sounds pretty cool. Huh. Huh. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to watch it, but I'll at least watch it when it hits Peacock. I think it's an NBC. I think it is. I don't know. We'll see what it hits, but I might wait till it comes out. I don't know if I'd go to the theater to watch it, the Minecraft movie, but I'll definitely see it when it hits streaming. I don't know if I'd go. Houston 1-0 LAFC. See, this is why I think Miami's going to beat them. How? I know they rotated, but still. I'd rather get the chicken jockey bucket if I went to the movies. But SKC 2. Goal! Blocked! Shot! Dejan Joveljic on the rebound! And Kansas City! 2-0! Dejan Joveljic with 2 goals. Off the rebound. Slots it home. Kansas City needed this one, and they got it. '88th minute. 2-0. Off the rebound. Boom. And Ben Lunt was nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Oh, boom. Hey, I saw that one live. Hey, I didn't miss that goal. I missed the first one. Moana has a nacho boat. You mean the live action one with an actual rock? Acting like Maui the character ain't just the rock. Hey, we made a live action one to push home the fact that the Rock is playing himself as Maui. You want me to be real? John Cena's a better actor than The Rock. You want me to be real? John Cena's a better actor than The Rock. At least John Cena can play different characters. The Rock plays The Rock. The Rock only plays The Rock. That's his. Even when the character is named something different, he still plays The Rock. The Rock plays The Rock. That's it. That's what he does. John Cena actually plays different characters. John Cena is actually a better actor. I don't like that he left wrestling to go to Hollywood, but at least John's an actor. At least John's a better actor. He isn't just playing John Cena every single movie he's in. Peacemaker is a different character. Daddy's Home movies, 1 and 2, different character. Trainwreck, different character. Shot Blocked Away. Like, Cena plays different characters. He's actually an actor. Rock ain't no damn actor. He just plays himself. Mark. Rock's a mark for himself. But the closest thing he actually played a character for 5 minutes of stoppage time was the final boss. So we know he can play a character because guess what? He breaks kayfabe all the time. The problem with the final boss is Rock breaks kayfabe all the time. So he can play a character. He just, when he does, he breaks kayfabe as soon as he's off camera. Because he's got to make sure he's still looked at as Dwayne the nice guy. Beat the shit out of Cody with a weight belt. Shows up at the press conference. Cuts a corporate. Answers questions corporately like a nice guy. Does that make any sense? But hey, at least he can act. Oh, so he can play a different character than The Rock. But then again, the final boss is just The Rock. It's just a different version of The Rock. It's just a despicable version of The Rock. Corporate despicable version of The Rock. Exactly, but at least it's different. At least it's different. At least John can act. He might have lied about never leaving the company, but at least he can act. "92nd minute. The Rock played the Tooth Fairy, though. Sometimes you got to pay your dues, right? Hey. Okay, yeah, maybe some of early Rock movies weren't The Rock. He actually played characters back then, but that's when he had to pay his dues. See, just like wrestling in Hollywood, you have to pay your dues. Let's remember, he used to be Rocky Maivia. That was just as embarrassing as the Tooth Fairy. So Rock knows that in acting and wrestling, he's been embarrassed early on. But ever since he's been able to do his own shit, he's played The Rock. But early on, he was embarrassed. His roles are still The Rock. I don't care if there's a different name. His roles are still The Rock. It is still The Rock. Whether they call him Luke Hobbs or Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he's still The Rock. There's no difference. John Cena, on the other hand, his characters are actually characters. Peacemaker is not John Cena. John Cena's playing Peacemaker, but he's not John Cena. He's not Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, John Cena. Hell, heel Cena ain't even Peacemaker. Peacemaker's Peacemaker. John's an actor. John's characters are actually different characters. It's not the same guy who cuts a promo on Monday night, face or heel. John Cena's characters are actually characters. That's my point. Peacemaker is Peacemaker. John Cena, heel or face, is John Cena. What he did on Trainwreck is a different character. What he did playing with fire, different character. Toretto, One of those Fast and Furious movies. Different character. 92 minutes to go. So my point being is this. Rock's characters are Rock, even if they have different names. At least ever since he's been able to do his own shit. Like, yeah, early on in 2006, he was embarrassed by playing the Tooth Fairy. Just like he was embarrassed in 1996 being Rocky Maivia. Okay, Marine, you might have a point, though. Huh? Marine kind of became his wrestling gimmick. So you know what? Fair. I'll give you the Marine. But that was a WWE movie by itself. So I'll give you the Marine. John Cena was playing John Cena on the Marine, which kind of turned out to become his wrestling gimmick. Batista's a good actor too, yes. I agree. But I'm talking about John and Rock because they're connected right now. But yeah, Batista's a good actor. He actually could act, yes. But, like, a WWE movie kind of, like, of course he's going to be John Cena in a WWE movie, even if he's a different character. That's a different thing. And it kind of became his wrestling gimmick. So I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But again, what's worse, the Rock movies or Kevin Hart movies? That's impossible. They both play on the same movies. Impossible question. They're both in the same movies. And that's full time. 2-0 for Sporting Kansas City. Kevin Hart movies are Rock movies. That's an impossible question. Kevin Hart movies are Rock movies. Honestly, those are my favorite Rock movies. I won't even lie. My favorite Rock movies are the ones where Kevin Hart shows up, actually. So, they actually play well together, actually. Seriously. Like, Kevin Hart and Rock actually play well together. Like, those movies are actually good. Like, something about them working together just works. Yeah, Steven Seagal is a jackass. I agree. Well, Rock shaved his hair, what, before 2002? I mean, John Cena still has that big bald spot, but at least he tries to keep his hair. I mean, John never shaved it. If anything, he let it grow out. I think it makes it look worse. I think him growing out the pompadour kind of makes the bald spot look worse. They tried to let him grow it out to hide it, and it still looks worse. Should have just kept the $5 busted fade. Nobody would actually tell. I think he kind of screwed up there with the pompadour, but whatever. I think he screwed up with the pompadour, but that's fine. That's fine. But John never shaved it. But, well, that being said, full time, 2-0, Sporting Kansas City wins. Kansas City gets their first win in their first game without Peter Vermees for 16 years. You saw it coming, didn't you? I think we all did. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification once subscribe. Send some chats on the live streams, comment on this video, put this in playlist, share with friends and family, all that great stuff. I'll see you within the hour for the review of this match, and I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream of Toronto versus Miami and reviewing that game as well. But we got a review for this game, and I'll see you. See you later. I'm Ron, and I'm out. Peace.